which is mind blowing to me how that's a thought process that doesn't come to everybody, but like it's 90% of our job.
So the big question is, what are the top agents doing to absolutely crush it in real estate, grow their teams, and add more transactions year over year while so many struggle? If you ever thought about this, you're not alone. No one has been able to get the answers until now.
We spent the last few years helping agents sell billions in real estate, rubbing shoulders with top producers, which got us thinking, how can we expose more people to these insights to help raise the standard in the whole real estate industry? We then realized that we could help bridge the gap by getting the secrets from the best of the best so that you can succeed. My name is Andrew Dunn.
And my name is Peter Michael. Welcome to Elite Agent Secrets.
Third topic, which is showing up both literally and figuratively, and getting shifted. So we kind of covered off like literally showing up in an office example, but break down what you mean by showing up literally and figuratively, because by the way, like me and Peter wholeheartedly agree, like we're business people. I'm not sure, I think this was Jay-Z, but not that I'm in the habit of quoting rappers on the real estate podcast, but I think he said, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. Right. And it's like, that's the way we've always run this. It's like, you know, we are like, we're not businessmen. We're like, we are a businessman.
I am the business.
Yeah. And it's having that, it's drawing some lines in, like you said, all your topics kind of cover off, which we always find they coincide together because they all intertwine. So showing up is important for us, but we don't need to go to an office to show up. We've got our own offices. Like you said, some people are like, I don't have an office. I totally get it, because this is one of my struggles. And for a long time, it was like, I don't have an extra room for an office. So I'm literally like cut out a little corner of a room. And then if I just stare at this corner, it sounds so stupid, and then I made it like an office space. But if you're always looking in that direction, you're not looking behind you and all the other ways, it allowed me to kind of push through to the point where I was able to get, you know, different offices and stuff from different places. But I do understand that some people be like, I can't, I've got like 27 kids at home. Right. I'm not staying at home. 3 dogs, you know, all this stuff. So when you say showing up literally and figuratively, what do you mean exactly?
All right. So literally, obviously, get up, treat this like a job, because that's what it is. Get up every day and go to work. Even if you're a part-time agent and this is this is your side hustle, trying to figure out if this is what you want to do, not ready to release whatever it is your regular income is. I get that. I stayed in the restaurant business, I think, for my first 18 months before I finally was like, okay, I guess I'll just rely solely on this real estate thing and hope that I can still pay my bills. And it ended up being fine in the end. But the literally part, or the figuratively part, is show up every day for your customers and for yourself. One of the biggest complaints, and has been from the beginning of the real estate industry, is that, you know, an agent puts a sign in the yard and then disappears, or an agent shows you property, gets you under contract, and then disappears. Showing up for your customer is answering the damn text message or the damn phone within reason. They do not get to rule your life. They do not get to dictate your hours. They do not get to dictate your family time. None of that. But if somebody texts me a question, I'm not going to wait 5 hours to answer them. Even if I don't know the answer to the question, I will respond immediately. I'm checking on it, or get it, or thumbs up, just something to acknowledge their existence and their presence. And I think that for us, I can say that as many transactions as we've done, and I think this is probably one of my bigger points of pride over the last couple of years, is as busy as we've been, I don't think that any of our customers have ever realized how busy we are at that point. Like once COVID started, you know, we couldn't go to closings anymore. We started making, instead of posting every time we had a closing, you know, the picture of everybody at the closing table and yay, and we're signing and our little gifts or whatever, we had stopped doing that because we couldn't show up. And it was like, well, oh my God, people might forget this is what I do if I'm not posting like 24/7. Well, that's bullshit. That's not how that works. But I would make a post now at the end of every month, because we were also dealing with, I have a lot of friends across the country that are realtors. I didn't want to brag. Like, oh my God, Memphis market's so great. We're having like 10 closings a month. And I got people in, you know, Pennsylvania that literally aren't allowed to go take photos of listings because it's a violation of their stay-at-home order. So you had to kind of like teeter on this, like not being insensitive to what was going on around the country without acknowledging verbally what was going on around the country. So I started making posts at the end of the month, and it would be, that was also when it kind of started to set in, like, oh shit, we're like busy. We'd post, all right, we put, in February, we put 10 buyers under contract, helped 3 sellers go under contract, and then closed 8 houses. I had people start messaging me. They're like, oh my God, I didn't realize like how busy you were this month. Thank you so much for all the help that you gave. Thank you so much for responding every time I message. And it was never a thought of like, oh, we're going to give fantastic customer service. It was literally just doing my job, which is mind blowing to me how that's a thought process that doesn't come to everybody. But like, it's 90% of our job is answering questions and answering the phone. And the other 10% is trying to get along with the agent on the other side without cussing at them half the time. No, most of the agents that we deal with.
It's funny you say that, because I have a beef with the agents that don't fucking pick up the phone.
I know.
It is the most annoying thing ever, because I like to be responsive. If I can get to something like right now, right away, so then I don't have to have the mental bandwidth to remember it later, I'm all over it.
Yeah.
Right. And if I have to change my number 3 times, use 2 different phones before you actually answer my fucking call, I want to come through the phone and strangle the other person. And I talk to Andrew about this all the time. Like, half of my battle, actually, no, I'm sorry. 80% of my battle is getting the other fucking person to just pick up the goddamn phone.
Yeah.
Sorry, F words for emphasis. I get very passionate about this. But for anybody that's listening, whether you're new, seasoned, or whatever, no matter how much volume you do, pick up your goddamn phone or put someone in place to screen the calls so we can get answers and we can work together to move things along just a little bit quicker. Now, I don't know if this is a Florida thing, but I'm from the Northeast. I'm from Philly. So things in the Northeast have a tendency to move a lot faster than they do here in Florida, at the very least. So like 99% of my team is from the Northeast. We tried having people that were from down here, and they just the pace. I get it. We're Florida, lifestyle, whatever. No excuses. You have to, like, this is, I am a firm believer that I get to win 9 out of 10 times because I move at God's speed. Like if I'm going to an open house and I'm going to tell the agent, you're going to get an offer within the next hour, I'm getting my ass home, I'm sitting down and I'm writing that offer and I'm texting them before that open house is over, and I'm following through with what I said I was going to do. And they're like, wait, 5 other agents told me they're going to submit offers. I'm like, yeah, but you don't have them. Our offer is good until midnight. You take it or leave it. Let's move it. They're like, whoa. What's going on here? I was like, you want this house sold? And I want to get us paid. Come on.
Yeah. We're all working towards the same goal here in the end, which is one of the reasons it's so frustrating when they don't answer. It's like, we're all trying to get this done, but especially when you're under contract and they go, just MIA. But yeah, showing up, it really can just translate to doing your job, which is for your customer and for the other agent. It's just not as complicated as people make it be. And also, you've got some agents that, we're just, oh my gosh, I'm just so busy. I'm just so busy. I'm just so busy. And then you do a transaction with them and you realize why they're so busy, because they make everything harder than it needs to be. There's an extra 5 steps in something that could have been consolidated into 2. And I'm like, you're making extra work for yourself. That's why you're so busy, or you feel busy, but you're not accomplishing anything.
There's a big difference between being busy and being productive. You can be productive and you don't necessarily have to be quote unquote busy, or you can figure out how to leverage to make yourself less busy and a lot more productive. You made a very perfect point. I'm going through this right now. This agent has their hands in everything. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but there's no reason to exchange 15 emails back and forth. Just write me one email. Give me all your thoughts. Don't text me 15 million times and call me 5 times, because I don't really have I love you and I want to do this deal, but I don't want to talk to you that often. I don't want to talk to you more than I have to talk to my significant other. Right.
I don't need to talk to you more in this 30 days than I talk to my child. Yeah, it's just not necessary. We've got a good relationship, but we're not that close. But also systems are critical, especially for new agents, and having, like when we were talking about earlier with getting an assistant, if you're having to do the same thing over and over again, then maybe that's something that needs to be handed off to somebody else. Putting systems in place, checklists are my best friend. And so we operate on, we both have Macs and then we've got iPhones. And so the reminders on your iPhone, we share reminders. So like mom can open up her phone right now and see what's on the list for Wednesday that needs to be accomplished. She can tackle it, I can tackle it, but we both know what needs to happen for that day or what projects we've got working or what fire we've got to put out or whatever. That has been incredibly helpful. And then within reminders too, we have really figured out how to maximize our time as best we can. We thought we were pretty seamless pre-COVID. And then when COVID hit, it was like, oh, well, now that we're 100% virtual, we need to streamline some of these even more. And so within my reminders, I've got like buyer goes under contract and the 6 or 7 different things that have to happen quickly with that contract, scheduling inspections, turning it into the lender, turning it into the attorney, et cetera, coordinating earnest money, all of that. And so that property is not good to go until all of those things are done. Same thing with a listing, same thing with when a listing goes under contract, same thing for when things closes or when things close. Google reviews, that's a checklist item. Adding them to our sphere, that's a checklist item. You can get something closed, you can get it to the table, you can get paid. But let's think long term. When those people go to sell in 5 or 7 years, did you add them to the sphere ever? Do they still remember who you are? It may not. It was a big transaction for them at the time, but life changes. I don't know if they're going to remember who you are. So it's those little things and making sure that you get them done right then that will set you up for business in 5, 6, 7 years. However, the new average is that people move. I personally move like every 18 months. It's an occupational hazard.
Whoa. That's great. I mean, one funny thing is, for those that aren't watching, holding a bottle of Jack Daniels, made in Tennessee, right? Have you guys ever seen the advert for Jack Daniels? You both made me think about this, where you were like, we move fast. So I always remember this Jack Daniels advert where it's a guy and he's sat on a porch in his rocking chair and the big Jack Daniels brewery is there in the village. And he's like, everyone's moving so fast around here. Everything just moves a little bit slower. And then it's like good things take time. And it's his old boy, and he's got his wheat in his mouth. He's got his dungarees in his rocking chair, and he's got a pipe, whatever, and he's got his Jack Daniels. Funny. A lot of people look at that and be like, God, I've got to move fast. Like Peter and I look at that and I'm like, holy shit, he lives the dream life. I want to move at that pace. But Amanda, this has been amazing. I want to give the opportunity to you. I know if you want another assistant, if someone wants to sell a home in Memphis, whatever else you got going on, how could people reach out to you, whether it's phone, email, socials, whatever you want? The floor is yours.
Yeah. So if anybody's got anybody moving to Memphis or within Memphis that they know that needs to be moving soon, my number is 901-461-9246. I'm Amanda Lott, part of the 2-person Lott team, but underneath the large umbrella of Cry-Like Realtors, who is a big major company here in the Mid-South.
Amazing. Amanda, this has been an absolute pleasure. You brought some fire. We expected it with your prestigious titles that we rocked into at the beginning of this episode, that we knew you'd bring the heat. We've thoroughly enjoyed it. Everyone listening, I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. Oh, and by the way, if you're listening to this and you aren't making over $100,000 per year in GCI and you're looking for a predictable system to get you there, then head over to go.eliteagentsecrets.com.